Hey there, this is Blue, and this is...
Hello, I'm Trob.
There you go, that's Trob. Welcome back to Road to SFM. Today, what we're going to be doing, Trob?
We are going to make another poster.
Excellent. And what's this one going to be about?
Well, I figured, in the last few, we've just kind of made a mash. Bunch of different ones. I figured we'd try something a bit simpler.
Okay.
So we're basically going to have a single model be the star of the picture this time.
Excellent. So a nice to the point SFM. And for people who are watching, who are wondering, the whole point of the SFMs is obviously for people who haven't done game dev before. We're kind of showing you some of the tools and some of the methods to use in an environment that you're kind of used to. So the whole idea is that eventually you become more and more kind of confident with it, until eventually we move along and we start trying out different things. And, you know, it's a bit like just experimenting, getting used to stuff. Anyway, on with the show, buddy.
Alright, this SFM will be quick, thankfully.
Not too quick, though. Quick.
Well, it'll be shorter than our usual one.
Yeah.
So, let's start out a new one. Last time was a Halloween one, which was a while ago, unfortunately.
So, let's change this.
Part 3.
Ooh.
Frame rate, just believe that. Right, let's create this new session.
Excellent.
Pardon me. Right, let's load a map. So, where do we want to go to today?
Well, you wanted to focus on the Scout, didn't you?
Yes, but there needs to be a nice background.
I know. So, where's a stupid place the Scout can hang out?
Well, actually, that should
What about Watchtower? Top of the Watchtower?
We could. Then again, it won't really show the top of the watchtower. We can just have the watchtower in the back.
Well,
We can use the watchtower, though. Right, so it's going to load up the map.
Tremendous.
For those who don't know how the secondary viewport works, I'm afraid I forgot how I did it myself, but look at part 1 and I'm sure my past self will tell you how I did it.
You'll pick it up again. Oh, it's been a couple of weeks, to be honest, since we did an SFM, so...
And we're going to try and get back into
the swing of things.
Routine of it.
Ooh.
So what's going to happen is these next few episodes are going to be focusing on each of the classes, just to kind of get used to solo posters.
Well, the interface really as much as anything, I think.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Interface is good. Wow, it takes a while to load sometimes, doesn't it?
I'm
That must be what that loading screen in Team Fortress is all about.
Basically.
Right then, so presumably first you have to move your initial thing and set your camera.
Indeed. So the question is, where do I want my Scout?
Well, we wanted somewhere stupid. Could we not have him posing on top of that sign that you just zoomed past?
Not really, because the Scout's going to be literally directly in front of the camera. We won't really see anything else. We're just kind of on a map.
So we need to find a good place. Well, we don't want him in the cave.
Well, there's water here, but we can't really see it because the water effect is kind of there. So I'll have it around here.
Okay.
So, let us...
You want to create a camera then, I'll assume.
New camera. So this
And
is
then
now
you're
going to be
move
set
your
to
camera.
Change scene camera to 1. It's been a while since I've done this. Shut up.
And I think you're going to have to actually manipulate your camera, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to have to find it first. I'm going to have to go to that. Now, where...
Is that not it in the middle there? Look, turn right, turn right, turn right, up, 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 no. That's looking up, turn right, there.
Oh, there you go. What happens when you wake up early?
There we go.
Right, so, there's the camera. I wondered where it went. I thought it was underneath that little
In the
pond.
words of pantomime, it was behind you.
I miss pantomime.
I do enjoy pantomime.
Right, this I'm going to have to
You're going to have to find the target, because it's...
reduce its field of view a bit, because that's a bit zoomed in for my liking.
Yeah, the FOV is quite important.
Right, let's get this set to a nice point. So it's going to be looking up slightly.
Cool.
Right, so there's our camera and the secondary viewport.
Excellent.
So now that's just going to stay there and we shouldn't have to play with it again. Now, one thing I'm going to do before I forget is go to render settings and set up everything here because it always goes back.
Ambient occlusion mode is okay. What's that?
I need to set
1024 samples.
Yep. Ambient occlusion will just turn everything horrible. Just leave those alone. Leave
It's
everything
good
else.
for showing the ambient occlusion though, because you can see how it's rendering.
Motion blur you will not need because we're not
It's
making
not moving.
the animation. So that's set. I have to make sure I do that early, otherwise I'll forget and it'll just kind of look horrible.
Sure thing.
So let us load up the Scout, new model. So.
There he is.
Oh, and he's been buried. Right, let's go to TF Movies. We'll just find him right here on his own. Scout.
I think you found him. Hooray, it's done.
Wow, it's not doing a zoom in on his crotch for once as well.
That's nice.
Progress. So, I'm just going to go straight into import a sequence, I believe. Yep, here we go. I'm going to have him doing a...
Does he have a cheer type sequence? 'Cause I'm just thinking, if he's looking at the camera, could he not be like looking quite pleased with himself at the camera?
Oh, there are plenty of taunts.
What's the Russian?
That's him doing the Kazotzi kick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but we need to kind of have him just doing his thing.
Yeah, I know, but I still like.
What's
Laugh. Yeah, perfect. Have him doing that and pointing at the camera. You know, where he's doing the pointing part, I think could be quite ideal.
I guess.
Oh, you don't have to. I mean, it's just a suggestion, obviously.
No, I'm just thinking of things I could do with it as well.
Well, there's plenty of things you can do with him.
Right, let's open it then. Just
look at all those animation keys. There.
Right, I've got the set I want. Now I'm going to have to play with his face because right now he's just kind of zombied. So, let's see now. I need to go to... If I go back... Emotion.
Missions. Make him happy as Larry.
I need to find it.
He looks so happy.
Goodness sake, there we go. He doesn't look that happy.
He looks fairly happy.
He needs to be more happy though. Happy big.
Oh, we'll have happy big.
Apparently I can't use that.
It could be because you changed to mode.
Could be, yeah. It's because I changed it, but that thing was in the way.
That's okay, if you change it you can always switch.
I want to get rid of his bone structure because it's in the way. Happy big. There we go.
Oh, look how happy he is. That's perfect. He
His
looks
eyes
really pleased with himself.
His eyes have kind of disappeared into the back of his head.
That's okay. That works for me.
Yeah, it doesn't work for everyone else, but we kind of need him looking at it, so...
I think he looks quite cheery.
He does look quite cheery, but I need his eyes back.
Is it brow in that you've changed there? Or is it...
There we go, he's now...
There we go. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. There. Yeah.
Whee!
Have him looking like there, off to the side. There we go.
Looking directly at the camera.
He looks really pleased, doesn't he?
I don't like how, if you can see, how it's kind of just...
Oh, no, you don't need to worry about that, because that's just the preview mode. When it goes through to render, as you know, it'll look a lot better.
Right, I'm going to now move the camera, because the camera needs to take up pretty much most of this. So, camera, we get to move you again.
There we go.
Basically, I'm going to do what I did with the pyro a couple of episodes ago.
You having him pointing off screen? No, I haven't pointed at the camera. It was way better. More characteristic.
It is, but then there's kind of just too much room left. Whereas I can kind of have it here. It shows a background and he's not completely out of it.
Well, why not have the camera pull back a bit, have him point to the camera, but have him slightly offset to the right?
He is kind of looking at the camera. If you look in the bottom screen, he's pointing at the camera lens.
Well, I guess it's your composition. Sure.
No, it's just I don't want there
you
being too much spare room.
Everything, yeah.
No, not taking up everything. It's just I don't want him basically being less than 1/3 of the image.
Yeah, that's fine. So what do we think might be going on with this Scout in the background at the minute?
Well,
why is he so happy?
I don't know. We can just have him being happy. You're wanting him to be happy, so I just kind of went with it. I was going to originally have him using either a bat or a scattergun just in his base pose, but this also
no,
works.
He does look pretty damn cheerful. I'm really into how cheerful the Scout is. It's just you know what I'm like with the Scout. I like the Scout to look cheerful, but at the same time, I also like the Scout to be in some peril.
That can be fixed. In the meantime, I'm going to quickly just move his arm a bit because I want to be able to see something, which is his pack. Right, now
he looks like he's doing the Wiggles dance.
Now if I can see his pack now.
Yummy, yummy. Fruit salad.
Oh, shut up. So now I'm going to basically do some things, which is give him separate
Props.
models and put them on him.
Go for it.
So I need a new model. First is going to be his scattergun.
If he's got his scatter gun, isn't he going to have a few problems holding it?
He's not going to be holding it.
I don't know.
I've got a specific idea for this one. Scattergun. Now I just need to find his base scattergun model, which is right there. Right, so, whoa.
Nice.
So, it probably doesn't take a genius to figure out what I'm going to be doing with this duffel bag.
You're gonna...
I'm going to put it in his duffel bag.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not going to have it just kind of floating there. Because, again, where else would the scout put his stuff?
Up his bum.
I could put the bat there.
You could, but I don't think we'd see it, sadly.
I don't think we'd need to see it to know it's there.
True, true. And what a great day that would be for Road to SFM.
We could still do that, and honestly, it'd probably be fine.
It's okay, we'll do that. We'll do that later for the pyro or something. Or the spy.
We'll not do that, probably. Now, I just want to basically look like it's in its
A new
bag.
series called Sticking Things in the Spy.
The spy is the one who sticks things in people, not the other way around.
Oh, I see. Oh, that works.
Right, so I basically want it kind of in his duffel bag.
Problem is at the end's quite large, isn't it?
I don't need to see it completely being in the duffel
Oh
bag.
yeah, I know.
just
You're
need
going with the old 3D trick that what you see is what people are going to get.
Yeah, because if you look in the bottom image
Yeah,
now,
it
it
looks
looks
fine.
like it's in his duffel bag.
What do you think could be going on in the background?
Oh, I'm already aware what's going to be happening,
Excellent.
which I think you'll find quite hysterical.
I like the sound of this already.
But in the meantime, I need to give him douchebag scout hats. And one of them is going to be the generic I'm an asshole scout who doesn't know how to have fun and is always a tryhard, the tossle cap, I believe. This thing.
Troublemaker's tossle cap.
As long as it doesn't glitch with his other hat, which it has.
So
So I need to figure out how to get rid of his
Well,
old
hang on.
hat.
That'll be types, won't it?
Right, so now I'm going to get rid of the scout's other hat. So I'm going to quickly figure
There it is
out-
down there. PP hat.
Yep,
And you want to?
here it is.
No, click on pause itself. That's
I have. It's X, Y, and Z.
Okay, and then I think over there where it says PRP, pause on the left.
Yeah.
Okay, and change that to -100.
Alright.
Hat's gone.
And amazing, we now have a douchebag scout.
Perfect. Because all we've done there is moved the hat basically 100. What do you call it? 100 units offset from the scout, so it's floating off somewhere else where the camera can't see it.
Which is for the best. Now I'm going to have to quickly close down the scout, otherwise I can accidentally move
should
his
prob-
animation.
You should probably do a quick save of the scene as well. You can see the hat off there on the left actually, if you just move. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's floating happily away from the camera. You could change it to -1,000 I suppose and have it even further away, but
As long as it's completely off camera, I'm happy.
look at that face.
Dear God, this is the face of the scout that no heavy wants to see. Especially the ones who gives out free sandwiches.
Beautiful.
Well, we're not done yet. We still need to give him more hats.
He's
Because,
got a hat already, hasn't he?
well, masks. Oh, I can set his skin, but I'm not going to. Let's see now. I need to add Team Fortress item.
Hey.
So, I need to give him a miscellaneous.
Misc.
Other cosmetics. Here we go.
Good old coffee.
Fast learner.
You added me by mistake.
Yeah, I see.
There it is.
There we go. The fast learner goes directly with the tossle cap and makes you look like a tosser.
Well, when it's loaded.
His arms seem to be kind of,
What was the fast learner? What is?
it's changed his shirt. He's now got sleeves and,
Oh, nice.
he's basically wearing school stuff.
There's a little bit of an overlap. It's obviously not quite there, but it's kind of there.
I need
It
to-
doesn't matter too much if you look at the camera.
Yeah, but it's still got those patches of skin which are annoying. But then again, we can just get rid of them in the, Photoshopper, can't we?
Well, we can get rid of them in Photoshop, sure.
Right, just cover that up with white then. But either way, this is the scout that you don't want to see on a server.
Yay.
Because he will try too hard. So,
What's going on in the background? Homes?
that's a good question. The question here is, can I put things up here? If the answer is yes, then we are in business.
Well, you can, but you'd have to move them up there.
That won't be too difficult. I just need to figure out...
Is it by any chance a sniper?
It might.
Thought it might be.
Right, it's up there by that tree.
So add yourself a sniper.
Okay, but my idea is a bit different.
Or whatever it is you're running.
Add new model. TF movies. Right. Sniper.
Just remember with this, if you're going to... I just thought about it. If you're going to choose an animation set for it...
I'm not going to use an animation set, I'm going to give it basic rigging and that's it.
So you're just going to pose it?
Yeah.
Sweet. I was going to say, otherwise it'll obviously balk up the pose that you've got for the other fellow, won't it?
Okay.
You see, that's why this two-boxing method works. Thanks, Jason Busby.
Right, so, this should be quite entertaining for those who...
I always used to wonder why, like, a guy I know who kind of basically founded the tutorials thing. Keep going while I'm waffling away.
Oh, no, it's fine.
A guy called Jason Busby, really nice guy. He founded 3D Buzz. He used to do this kind of two-box approach where he'd like show how to do stuff, and other people would talk about, and other people would ask him questions while he was doing it, or vice versa. And I always wondered, you know, why he used to do that method, because I always used to do stuff on my own. And now I understand, and it kind of makes sense. By the way, you know those circles there allow you to move on two axes at once? That one, yeah.
Whoa, God, no, come back.
Yeah, it's sensitive.
Very.
See, this is how we learn. And that'll move you on any axis.
I know.
Don't forget to check your little bottom left camera, because he seems to be off screen at the minute.
I need to get him up there, and then I can put him somewhere. He's basically going over there by those trees.
Mm-hmm.
This one, yep. Come back. Then move up. Right, you should pretty much be over there almost. If not, I can just quickly just... No. I clicked on the box down here. So, you should be over here now. I shouldn't need to give these snipers any cosmetics, because, well...
Do you get particle systems for, you know, like rifle shots and things?
You can.
I was just thinking, because you could have like a particle system going from your sniper all the way to literally just the side of the scout's head. So he's looking quite jolly, but it's literally like a frame before the bad things happen, if you know what I mean.
Well, what I'm about to do is going to leave many bad things. Come on. 2, 3. I need to set their skins to blue.
Why have you got 3 snipers?
Why not?
Fair enough.
I was literally going to have 3 snipers on the perch, kind of just aiming at him.
I think you might want to pose one sniper and then copy it first, mind.
Well, yes, but right now I've got to set them to blue, which I believe is 2 or 1. Well, either way, let's get them in position first, then I can do that.
You're going to individually pose them?
No. I don't need to individually pose them. I've already got their rigging. I just need to hit a few buttons and they'll do their thing. So, one sniper can go here. So, I need the other 2 to come with me to another part of the cliff. So that's one sniper. Another one will go slightly over here. Set him to blue, which is 1, I believe. And then sniper number 3 can come with me. This is my way of saying, fuck you, Scout.
Ah, I see.
Sadly, you can't really see it very well on the camera, but...
Well, once it's full screen, you'll be able to kind of see them off in the distance, and I can highlight them slightly using the Photoshops.
That'd probably be for the best. I also need to set you to blue, which is 1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
lovely.
You can see here there's 3 snipers, which are dogs.
Just about make it out in the distance. They'll be larger, obviously, in the poster.
Yep. So right now they're kind of just doing their thing, so now I'm going to have to give them their riggings, which...
Well, their pose, yeah, not their rigging. The ring's the bones.
I call it rigging.
I know you do.
Easier. Right, sequence. This won't be difficult.
Can you offset the sequence so that we don't have to go forward and backward in it? Let's have a look.
We don't have to in general, we just need to set it.
Okay.
Which is, let's see now. It's around here somewhere.
Aim?
Stand deployed primary.
Nice.
He doesn't need to move, he's just
God,
sits
yeah,
like it.
that makes sense.
See? He's already done.
Give him his gun.
I need to put the others in those poses as well. This won't take long.
No, that's fine. Take your time. I'm,
well, to be fair, this is only 20
well, yeah,
minutes
we're
long
only
so
20
far.
minutes in, so that's cool. I mean, you've got lights to do yet, but that won't take long either.
I've also got camera shit to deal with. Well, there's my,
Actually, I wouldn't
swear.
dick with the camera too much.
No, I've got to
Simply
put it,
because,
I'm not moving the camera, I'm going to be basically putting the bits in, like for
Oh, yeah.
instance, fade and all that. Not fade, I forgot what it's called.
depth of field.
That's it.
If you put in too much depth of field, you're going to lose the snipers completely, mind. Just to warn you.
I'm not going to put in too much, I'm just going to put some. Stand deployed primary. And the last one, which I believe is
Sniper 1.
Stand deployed, import, sequence. Gotta go down to stand deployed, which is up, I think. Yep, stand deployed primary.
Cool.
Done. Now I need to just give them
Guns.
snipers and a really obscure hat they won't see.
I wouldn't bother with the hat if you can't see it.
I'm going to give them hats anyway.
Fine.
We're only 20 minutes in, it's not like this is very long.
Import.
No, I need
No,
to give
no,
them
no, no.
a item.
That's it.
So, first one is going to be a Markuna. So now
Lovely.
that one's got a nice looking sniper rifle. This one's going to get the Sydney Sleeper. Sydney Sleeper, which is a piss gun. And
Beautiful.
Sniper 3 is going to get...
Is there a really crap looking gun for snipers?
the SMG.
I don't know. You pick one. It's a pity there's not something like a balloon gun or something. Festive Huntsman. Festive
That's,
Sniper Rifle. Festive Sniper Rifle.
Where is it?
Festive Sniper Rifle. Up, 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 up. Down, 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 down. Down. There.
That's it.
Oh, festive.
It's not very festive.
Doesn't matter.
So either way, now we have our firing line of snipers aimed, hopefully, towards him.
I just had a thought, you know. I mean, not this time, obviously, but what you could do is you could have two cameras. You could have one set up there, looking at them, and then you could have one down there, like for that, and then you've got two pretty impressive pictures. Although I think if you can find a way just to highlight, probably just put a light in front of each.
Well,
of
the
them,
thing is, I can actually make two posters here by putting another camera here.
looking down at the sniper.
Well, it's not really looking down at the sniper. It's basically here.
Well, that's something that the viewer at home can have fun doing, probably. To be honest,
Because this is actually quite a nice looking image here with the sniper.
it is nice. Anyway, let's go down to our dear friend. Are you going to put lights in front of these fellas?
I shouldn't need to.
You're
Plus,
aiming-
it'll look kind of weird if the lights just kind of.
Yeah, you're
there
right. It'll
from a
look like
distance.
3 spotlights on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
don't
let's go
want
down
that.
and light the scout.
So, our scout here is laughing at something, while our 3 marksmen up there give the scout something to be worried for. Basically, those snipers are going to be little Easter eggs.
Actually, I've got a nice idea for once you finish lighting the scout. Actually, before you finish lighting the scout, to be honest, let's
I
have
haven't
a
even
look.
started lighting. What's your idea?
Let me think. Go up there to where they are and look at where the scout is. Actually, set a camera first, right?
I'll have to set the camera.
Just create a camera.
I need to set a new camera then.
Okay, get your camera.
I need to figure out where it's gone.
It's okay, it'll be in the same place as the last one, so just turn around, keep turning.
Oh
There it
no,
is.
it's right there.
Okay, so move it up to where the other guys are at the minute, right? So, I know this will take a mo, but don't worry. Okay, right, check it up.
That didn't take long. Oh wait, no, never mind, it did.
It's okay, you're nearly there. I know they're quite far away, it's just, I was thinking, this, and I thought I had a good idea. Okay, now you don't need to worry too much. Get it where the middle guy is. Okay,
the middle one. Why not the one on the end?
No, the middle guy will average it nicely. We're not looking at them. This is a little separate thing, right?
Right.
So move that along, because we're going to do a quick render. Now I know we haven't got the lighting set up yet, but trust me on this. Okay.
So is your idea to get these guys rendered before the actual?
No, we're not. That's the thing, you see. We're not actually getting any footage of them. Okay, switch to camera view once it's next to him. Okay, we'll obviously have to switch back to the other camera in a minute. So go to camera 2.
Camera 2.
Okay, cool. Now rotate it so we're looking at the back of the scout's head.
Well, that's going to be quite difficult from here, especially if we're using the sniper, because then we'll have to pose him a bit more.
No. You don't have to look at the you don't have to look at him. You have to look at the scout's head. Okay, so go down where the scout. Look at where the scout is.
Right, let's see if I can get this in.
Okay, so you want.
I'm basically using the second viewport to kind of aim this as.
That's absolutely fine.
As possible.
So just try and get it. Right, can you see him? Now we should have some sort of a zoom option in
FOV.
the camera. So change the FOV to be really, really, really narrow. Okay, beautiful. Now this is going to be quite difficult, but I want you to aim at the back of the scout's head if you can. Is that him down there in the left viewport?
That's Scout right down there.
Perfect. Okay, now what I'd like you to do.
This is getting very sensitive and I can't zoom in anymore.
That's alright, that's alright. We're absolutely fine there. What I'd like you to do now is I would like a render of that.
You want this one to render?
I want that one rendered as it is right now.
Alright. File. That. I've completely forgotten. Jeez, it's been a while.
It has been. Hang on a second then. Okay, so we need to export this. So if you go to your file, we're going to export this as a poster, yeah?
Yep.
Okay then, so the image size is fine. Change the location because we want it to go into our work folder. So this is off screen, double click in that, and double click in the Road to SFM3 folder. Okay, now we're going to give it the name back of head. Okay, hang on a second. And click save. Okay.
Crap, it was saved as a TGA.
That's absolutely fine. Okay, and this is hopefully going to be camera 2, export poster. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this will take just a few moments, and you probably think to yourself, well, why are they doing this? Don't worry about it. It'll make sense in a minute. I know the image seems a bit flat, so don't worry. We've got some good laughs ready for this. Okay, so that's been done, and Trob, you're still wondering why I've done this. Do you want to change back now to camera 1? We don't need camera 2 anymore.
I'll just leave it up there, then it can't be seen anywhere.
Exactly. So go down here, because this will, the payoff for this will be great, trust me. And it's best that we do it before we put any lighting into the scene, so.
Now, as usual, I'm going to give this a bit of a twist.
Cool. Always adds a bit of dynamism putting a twist into the camera.
Plus we can see the Scout's fingernails.
Exactly. Okay, so what are you doing? Putting the lights in?
As usual, I'm going to put the north, east, south and west light in, as I call them. Which is,
which is your fill light, your back light, your rim light.
And the detail light.
That's the one. I do apologise for this coughing. Oh dear me. Oh, that's quite light.
Of course it's quite light. We've got 4 untouched lights right now.
And they appear to be directly in the Scout's face.
So, I'm just going to turn them all off for now.
Start with light 1.
Indeed. So, let's select light 1. So, light 1 will go directly to the front left of the Scout. Light 2 front right. And the other 2 will go behind him on the left and right, as usual.
Sounds good.
It's just to get as much as
just to
possible.
pick out detail, really, isn't it?
It's also to highlight as much as possible without making it look too overdone.
Absolutely. Lighting is very important, though.
So,
it took me a long time as a 3D artist to learn that light was really important, but it is.
So right now he's just kind of blindingly...
overblown, yeah.
So now I'm just going to turn this down by as much as I can without too much being removed.
I think if you double click on it, you can actually look at the numbers. Could you try double clicking on intensity for me? Yeah, I mean, if you change that to about 0.02, I think. There we go.
I'd rather have that not 0.3 or 4.
0.3 was quite bright.
Not really, because again it's just giving basic highlight levels.
Oh yeah.
Plus his shirt's going to be quite bright anyway because it's white.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, being able to put in the numbers though does make it a bit easier.
It does. Right, so light 2 is now going to go to the other side of
You
him.
haven't turned it on yet.
Yeah, well, that's about to be fixed once I... There we go. So, this is going to go up here. So now I need to twist the light.
Twist by the pool.
I want this light to be a bit high and further back.
Okay. Good thing is that by reducing the intensity as well, you obviously get less sharp shadows.
Which is good.
Well, yeah, otherwise it'd be like really overblown like that. Remember, if you double click on it.
Yeah.
0.03 I think last time used.
Yep. There we go.
Nice.
So now I'm going to turn this light off and turn this one on.
Whee!
Now for this one I just need to move it straight through the Scout. So it should be hitting his right shoulder. Some people only use 3 lights and some people use 5, one directly above the model to... But sometimes in a different light, or sometimes it'll be pink or green to show kind of a special type of thing, but I prefer just having the 4. So for this one I'm going to pose it and then I'm going to pull this back a bit. If I can hit the arrow. I prefer just using the arrows, it's just much simpler in my head. So, as we can see from back here...
Very, very bright backlight going on there.
Indeed. But his gun has good highlighting. I don't need to reduce this as much. I just need to get it to a decent set. It's going to be reduced mostly, but not too much.
That's quite good. The light on the side of his hat's nice.
Plus, if you look at his gun, it's now got highlighting.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn this light off, and I'm going to put it on his left shoulder.
Stage left.
I'm sure you can explain the importance of lighting and how much worse it
Light's
can get.
important.
Yep. Well, there you go then. I guess I wasn't listening while I was doing it myself.
No, that's alright. Lighting is very important. If you don't put light into a scene, I mean, you probably noticed yourself, dear viewer who we love, that when Trob here was busy kind of making the render of the Scout from the perspective of the snipers, it was a very flat image. I mean, obviously the rendering kind of added a bit of pop to it, but it was still very, very flat because there's no lighting in the scene. You always need lighting in your scene in order to make, obviously, your standout. You want your rim lighting because it adds highlights, and your shadows, which are very important because your shadows give depth, even if they're very muted shadows. You know, kind of if you go outside on a cloudy day, you'll still have shadowing underneath your feet that are obviously closest to the ground, but they're very diffused because obviously the light coming through the clouds is very diffused as well, but it still gives depth so that when you raise your foot up you can still see the dark areas underneath.
My question would
light
be...
isn't pooling.
Well, I've got a question for you which you can have fun answering.
Go for it.
How would you light up a bigger model? Like, this is a human-sized model, so it's easy, but what would you do about a model that's like about up to the...
Well, that's the question. With something like this, obviously there'd need to be a lot more lighting put into it. You're going to have... I mean, you can rely a lot on the game engine, especially newer game engines that have things like global illumination settings and things like that. But at the same time, I think your light's turned off, by the way.
I've turned them off for a reason.
Right. But at the same time, you've got to obviously bear in mind things like you're going to have lighting bouncing underneath those bridges that are going overhead, so you'd normally put in some low lights underneath there so that global illumination doesn't really have quite so much work to do, and in dark areas you'd like build in some lights to cover things like bounce. Plus, of course, you'd have to put in all the lights that actually exist in the scene and are turned on, so any stationary lights that are hanging from ceilings, things like that. Plus, of course, take into account things like any characters that have lights on their hats or that are carrying lights with their weapons.
That makes sense. So, now that that's done, I've set up the camera and everything, so
what
now we're
it's
going to
like
have
with the
a
lights.
before and after. So we've got the before with not much on in the secondary
Flat.
viewpoint, but now we're going to turn on all the lights.
A little bit overblown in places, possibly.
It has. Let's see where that light is and which one it is.
There, second light.
It is. The second light's a bit too bright.
Remember, you set the intensity there at 0.3. Try setting it to 0.2.
Set to
Or
1.
1.
Yeah, that seems to be okay.
That's a bit better.
The second light could also go down a bit.
Yeah, change that one to about 0.15, I'd say.
Just bring it down to a
0.015.
1.
Yeah, that's better. Okay, turn on the two rear lights to see how it looks.
The two
Better.
the two back ones will always have a bit more light because it's a bit more forgiving with that.
Well, yeah, because it's coming in from the back, it doesn't matter if it overblows it a bit. We don't want it to blow out the scene, though. We don't want the saturation too high, so...
But either way, the Scout's gun has a lot of...
By the way,
highlight
ignore
on
the
it
fact
there.
that it's hovering off the ground. The camera can't see that, so we don't care.
Well, it's a good thing because the lights are invisible, plus you can't see the amount of light we've left on the floor, but
Oh, yeah.
it has given him a shadow.
If you ever go past where they're filming on TV and stuff like that, you will notice the lighting doesn't seem to make much sense because they're only lighting for what the camera picks up. So you'll see that around the feet of an actor, you'll see tons of lights pooling and all these shadows. But again, most of the time, I mean, they're not focusing on the feet of the character, so they're not really that bothered about it. Okay, so do you want to make your render from this?
I'm just double checking because last time I forgot things and I don't want to forget things.
I think you've got everything this time. I'm pretty sure you have.
Well, I'd like to just make sure the camera's set, which is good.
Well, don't take
Got
too
the
long.
ones.
You know what
This
the
is just a
attention
quick-
span of the average YouTube viewer
This won't
is.
even take 30 seconds.
Lazy
I'm just
bastards.
making sure that everything's set. I don't want to forget something important. I'm just going to check the render settings one last time, which is good.
Okay,
Right, so now we go to
export the poster.
export as a poster.
Hooray.
Save.
Okay.
So,
Change this from back of head then to main or whatever you want to call it.
this is oh,
Douchebag. Excellent.
now
Okay.
let's not.
We want it in
put in-
TGA because I'm going into Photoshop, so put it on TGA first.
But these are usually put as PNGs.
Yeah, I know, but I'm editing it in Photoshop first. I want it as a TGA.
I'd rather a PNG though.
I'm sure I can export.
TGA is
I can export
horrible.
as TGA, but I want it as a. I want it to go in as P. I want it to go in. Sorry, I can export it as a PNG. I need it to go in as a TGA.
Alright. Export. It's now rendering as one of those. It's still got those
Also,
horrible
incidentally,
pixels on it,
if
which is
you
annoying.
read what it says on the exporter there, it will always export a TGA. It'll export a PNG as well, but it'll export a TGA for technical reasons.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Alright, so we'll come back as soon as this is paused and done, and we should be in Photoshop. Hey there. Right, so I'll swap chairs a minute because we're just going to do something about rendering before we do anything else. Okay, so I thought I'd drop in simply because I've got slightly more of a background in rendering. There's a couple of things we need to do. So we're going to go over here, right click, and go into the render settings. And then inside there, I'm going to change the depth of field. Now, I know we want as high a quality as possible on these, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the DOF probably to 256. Motion blur, I'm going to drop down to 16. I know we're not using motion blur at all, so that doesn't matter too much. Rather than using AO only, I'm going to use AO and outline, so that'll give us a cartoon outline on this fella here. And then if I go into my camera one settings over here, I can also change my radius for my SSAO, which is my ambient occlusion. So I'm going to, you see, if you look, like with my radius completely gone, there's no graininess. Obviously, as soon as I start applying ambient occlusion, we get some, because what it's doing is it's basically filling in any dark gaps that we come across, like the gap on the hat and stuff. We can change the radius, just drop that down a little bit. Again, if we drop it all the way down, see, have it there. I'm going to change my strength of my SSAO and just reduce it a little bit, not too much. There we go. And then we can also change the bias if we want to, and the radius. I'm going to keep the bias the way it is, and maybe just lift the radius so that it's a little bit lighter. Okay, now hopefully when we render, if I go back here and go to my export poster, and I'm going to continue without saving, and I'm just going to call him Douchebag again, as my erstwhile chum Trob just did, and export. And this will take a few moments, and what we'll do is we shall obviously polish the image in Photoshop once it's finished rendering. And I was reading on the forums for SFM about how, you know, renders with this many lights in can take anywhere up to 2 hours. Ha! Get a better computer. Takes about 4 minutes on this one. Right.
That's a bit mean.
It is mean. Get a better computer. Okay, so this is the one that we just rendered out, just in Photoshop, or whatever your application of choice may be. Okay, just going back, you may notice it's kind of blurry. That's kind of the idea, alright? You can just see these three dark figures on the hill, which I think is hilarious. I think this is kind of exactly what I needed, to be honest, because I wanted a little bit of movement blur. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to get my render settings, and I'm going to turn off the motion blur and the samples.
You can also turn off the one on the camera if you want. Then again, you shouldn't.
That was the camera. So again, I'm going to just go here and I'm going to export it as a poster. That's
do
right.
the PNG one because you've done the.
Well, if I export as a PNG, it's still going to export as the TGA because that's the file that we need to work in Photoshop. So I'm going to save because probably should.
Yeah. And
export. I've renamed this inside the folder already, douchebag 2, so don't worry. Export and pause until we get to Photoshop. Okay, so with the rendering done, I'm going to go over here again to my Photoshop and pull across douchebag. Okay, so now there you go. So that's our two images. I'll just hit return. Okay, and just make sure, as you see, they're basically the same image, but one's slightly more blurred than the other, which is kind of what I was going for.
Now, one thing we're going to have to do is hide his kind of exposed shoulders there.
Yeah, we can do it. I suspect that's going to be slightly more complicated than...
We can just fill it with white.
Well, no, that won't actually work. There's a few options we can do though, so not to worry. Let's have a look at those
Just
first.
usually his arms aren't meant to be exposed like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I can go in and have a quick looky-see. I mean, it's mostly, this is pure white anyway, isn't it?
It is, which is why you can just kind of fill it.
Sort of, yeah. I've got to be very careful on how I do it, though. Okay, because this isn't a Photoshop lesson. We're not kind of going to be teaching people how to Photoshop, as it were. I'll use the eyedropper just to make sure I've got the right tone of white, though. Yeah. Because I don't have a Wacom or anything on me, which is kind of what you'd need, really.
Well, we're just trying to basically get rid of as much of the pink.
Right, I'm going to rasterize this smart object. And what I need to do is basically get these dark edges here. Now, for anyone who's going, oh my god, it's all white and there's no ambient occlusion anymore. No, there isn't, but don't worry, we'll fix that too.
It's fixable.
Everything's fixable thanks to Photoshop. That's why, you know, so many of you horrible dudes are busy photoshopping yourselves muscle torsos even as we speak. Okay, so it came out, and as you can see, that's a block.
Not bad.
It is bad actually because it's literally just a block of white. I mean, it's repaired it, but it's still just a block.
I mean, like
of
it's
white.
not showing his skin anymore.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't. Now this one slightly different because obviously got to come over here. And what I'm doing is I'm just keeping it underneath here.
Yeah, I can see that. You've got to keep the shadow.
But we've got an issue down here because you can see all this nice grey. So I'm probably going to have to paint some more grey onto this.
Probably, yeah.
So I'm going to use my paint dropper. There we go, and then go back to my brush tool, which I'm going to reduce the size of a little bit. Because we're going to end up with a blobby mess if we're not careful, and we don't want that.
Mm.
Okay, so now we've got that, and you can see it's like, ugh, it's a bit crap.
Mm.
It's alright, don't worry about it, because we have tools that can help us. Just to actually average out some of these pixels. So what it's doing is the blur tool basically averages it between the pixels around it, and allows us to basically just start spreading it, like so, until we end up with this. I'm going to bring this dark bit over here a bit more. So all I'm doing is I'm clicking the dark bit and dragging it to the lighter grey bit. Right, now I'm going to go down to my pen brush, turn this over, and I want to again use my dropper because this may not be completely dark grey. I mean completely black, it may just be a very dark grey. I'm going to come in and use my brush tool, and I want my brush tool tiny now. I'm just going to come in along these edges and rebuild this border. Okay, now down here, what we're doing is we're removing a lot of this blur, because the blur is basically made from when the black, there we go, when the black parts there are, that's not too bad, is it?
It isn't.
When the black parts are basically turning to grey, so it's giving it this kind of washed out look, and that's when we get the blurring. Okay, now for this part, if you're using Photoshop again, and I suspect a lot of you are using Photoshop, but if you're not, that's okay. Most of them have the same tools. We're going to use the burn tool here, and I want a smallish brush, and I'm just going to burn this area here. I want to make sure nothing else is selected. Just to show you, the dodge tool lightens things up, you see. So, as you can see anyway, I was just saying, like, if I use the tool there for dodge, it lightens, right? If I use the tool here for burn, it darkens, as you can see in that kind of circle there. So if I come across here, you'll notice it darkens that area, but it won't darken this white, because this white, obviously, it's white, you can't. There's a technical reason why you can't darken it, but to be honest, it basically boils down to it's white. So what I'm going to do is go across to the other side of my image and sample this grey again, just there, and then come back across to here. And I don't want to sample it too much, because obviously the way the lighting is on this, there won't be a lot of grey here, but there'll be a little bit. So if I go to my brush and just put in a little bit, and I'm going to change the opacity on that to around about 50%. If you're falling asleep, don't worry, porn's got you covered.
What?
There we go. Well, the people watching at home, man, they'll be like, oh, I'm getting a bit bored with all this like technical stuff.
I don't think they'll be watching porn while listening to porn voices.
Yeah, that'd be creepy actually, wouldn't it? But if you are, you know, feel free to tell us, because that's cool too.
And then we know who to avoid in the future.
Exactly. I was watching some monkeys spanking it, and I was listening to your voices. Thank you. And again, you may look at this and go, oh, that seems very basic. Again, I'm not using a Wacom here, simply because all my Wacoms are broken. Every single man jack of them. Because
except for the one that's
pretty much worn out.
Taken away by females.
Well, yeah. The daughter's got one. So all I'm doing is just blurring here. And I'm being careful to avoid going right near the dark edge. So I just want to get the impression that we have some very soft. Do you remember what I was talking about when I was muttering away there about lighting and how like you lift your boot and you've got this kind of light dark shadow underneath your boot even when it's sunny? Well, the same applies obviously like that. It's just a minor thing, but it adds a slight bit of depth there that you may otherwise be missing if you need to do the corrections. I like the fact that we've got the wrinkles on his face.
I like the fact that there's 3 dark figures with sniper rifles.
I know, I like that too. Now, you were probably wondering earlier, actually, about what it was I wanted to do with the other image. So I'm going to show you in a moment. Hang on. So I'm going to load that up. So here it is here. This is our back of head. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so what I'm going to want to do is actually focus on a specific part of this. So I am going to open up my Google browser. Now Trob was wondering what I was going to be doing with this, so I shall show you, because I'm so kindly. File, new, and I've just copied this off the internet.
That should look very familiar to any sniper mains.
Oh yeah. I can see that Trob's getting quite excited at the prospect of what we're about to do. So all I'm doing is I'm using the magic wand tool and just deleting everything, like so. And then Control A selects everything, Control C copies everything, Control V, nice, like so. Good.
Now you just need to black out everything else.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So,
And
good thing is that because I've got this in the layer as it is here, all I need to do, you see, is go to my wand tool, which is here, and then select that, and then I'll drop down to my background layer and hit delete, and we'll just take it to background color like so. Now I'm going to merge them, which is Control and E. It is pointing at his head, so we're cool. And then I'm going to do a Shift Control and I, and that will invert my selection, and a Control C or a Control X just to copy it. Control V. Like so. Okay, so make sure that's in there nicely. Now, there are some pixels in this that I don't really like, so what I've done is I've selected everything, like so, and I'm going to do a Shift, Control and I to invert it so it's only selecting this, and I am going to go to Select, Modify, and I want to border, and I'm going to make the border 4 pixels. Actually, I might make it a bit bigger than that. Hang on. So select, modify, border, and I think I'm going to make this maybe, I don't know, 10 pixels actually. Okay, that gives us that. Now I'm going to go to my brush, make sure the opacity is set back up, change the color to black, put in my brush mode, increase the size of my brush, just draw in the target reticule. Like that.
Very
nice. I like that. Okay, and I think I'd like to blur these quadrants a little bit so that it's just kind of focusing on his head rather than everything else, because we can assume that's what the sniper's going to be doing.
Yeah.
We can
if I'd known you were going to do this, I would have put in a bit of like a heavy dead slightly, just so you could see his feet.
Well, understandable, but you know what? It's just a lovely surprise. Right.
Well, I'm sure the scout will be surprised.
I imagine he'll be very surprised. I'm just blurring it like this, just doing a kind of a sweeping across, so that the only thing we're focusing on is his head. And you'll notice I'm doing it in a kind of a sweeping arc pattern, and that way everything is being blurred equally to his hands. Now the top here may not be as important, but we'll blur those rocks anyway because we don't want them to be the focus.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to focus on the rocks with the scout in the middle. I mean, have you seen his colour?
Oh yeah. Okay, so we've got that. Just blur his back a little bit more as well. Now his feet don't have any shadows underneath because obviously Trob hadn't put in the light in there because I asked him not to. But we can get around not having any shadowing under the foot by simply just using the burn like so. Now don't want to use too much burn on it, just a little bit. So like that, and then I'm going to blur those. Okay, and then if we pull back, there's our sniper. Yay!
Well, 3 of them.
Now then, I'm not going to make 3 reticules because obviously
You don't
we'll
need
have
to, but
do
the fact is there's 3
different
snipers
sides.
up there.
But we can also, because obviously, you know, it's a modern game, we can add a few things to this. So for this we'll use courier, because courier is always the best one to use for this sort of thing, because we're going for a kind of militaristic look. So if we just scroll up in the text and come to courier new, I do like courier new, and then we're going to go and basically drag it out here because it's a nice empty part, it'll give us some focus, and I'm going to drop down the size of the font. Perfect. Now we're going to put in some bits that look like, you know, useful code, so
Why bother, it's just a sniper.
I know.
Oh well, it works.
Exactly, it gives it a look that it's like inside the video game.
Sniper doesn't do this though.
I know, but we do.
Idiot acquired.
Is that the right way to spell acquired? I'm sure it is. But
Pretty sure it is.
I'll spell Aquuired. Aquuired.
Pretty
Yes,
sure
good.
we had it right.
I just want to make sure because I don't want to look like an absolute bell end for all the nice
Well,
people.
that'll happen anyway.
Okay, so there we go. That's our poster. Okay, so we've got
You should make the Y bold so it's kind of going yes.
I like the way you think.
Because we don't want it to go him to have the possibility of saying no. We want this scout to basically be kind of doomed.
Okay, so we're going with the text. I select the Y and just change that from regular to bold. There we go. It's a simple thing, but you know, it makes all the difference. Okay, and now, as we were talking about before, we have the secondary image underneath, which is, let's give it, take that off, we've got a blurry one here.
So what are we going to do with the blue one then?
Well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the opacity on this, just a teeny bit, and you'll notice it brings back in some of the shadow into the arm anyway.
Yep.
The more I reduce it, the more we get the blur from the background.
But it also shows its arm again.
Not when I pull it back up again, it doesn't. So if we go to about 80, we've still got the slight blur from the motion blur coming in, but not all of it. Okay, so that's looking good. Now, a couple of other things I'm going to need to do then. I happen to know for a fact that you like, for example, a nice border around your image. So is it white or black we usually use? It's white, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Shift Control I just to invert that, and make a new layer.
You also need to put our little box of info as well.
Oh yes, we'll do that. First, I'm just filling this.
Yay!
Okay, that'll give us that bit. We'll
Yep.
put our box in the bottom corner, but
Put it in the top corner because there's nothing really there.
yeah, well, we've got our three dudes over here. But
I mean the top right.
Yeah.
There's nothing really there.
yeah, good idea.
And there's more room.
Yeah, I like that. Just trying to think if there's anything else I need to do with this because
The
composition
saturation
on it's
effect?
so nice. I don't know. I
We'll
don't
take a
know.
look. If it's good, we'll use it. If it's not, we'll just leave it as it is.
Well, let's go over here. And
But we do need some kind of filter to make it look a bit more.
hang on a second, let's have a look. So, let's see. Use the multiply. Drop that
The snipers
down.
are practically invisible on that one. We don't want it too dark so that way we can't see the three shadowy figures with the sniper rifles.
I'll change the opacity back to 100.
I fear that my buds are not long for this world.
You reckon not, huh?
Mm.
Okay, there's a linear dodge. Just bump that up and then drop it down the opacity a little bit. There we go. Quite nice. Well, how does that look to you?
Looks good.
Okay, so now all we've got to do is put our names in the top right hand corner. What
So
it
it's
is.
usually a black box with grey arrows pointing out to it.
We normally have a black box, but I think this time we should go for something that's actually kind of part of the image rather than.
So a grey box then.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just see if we can get it chipped into the rock itself.
We either want the faded arrows still on the box because I like it.
Faded arrows.
Kind of like we did with the other boxes.
I can't remember what they look like.
Well, you can just open your Steam and look.
I suppose.
I mean, Steam button's right there. You just need to hit your profile.
1 minute. One quick look at our previous stuff has told me what Trob means.
This is part 3. Made by Trob and Blue.
Do you want the zombie bit added or not?
Trob Zombie is my name.
Good man. I'll remove this space here.
Yep, gonna put your website in.
Put the old webby site in, yeah, that's right. So, that'll look like that. It's obviously be a lot cleaner. I might increase the size of the font to 30 pixels. Well, not pixels, 30 points. Do that. put it around about there. Now, if I...
We don't really need to put the box, we can just leave it like that.
Well, I'll go into blending options. And... let's have a look. I keep forgetting because it's so large, we're not actually going to get a lot of that. Hang on a second, I'll just dump it up onto the top layer because it shouldn't be on the bottom layer. Right. Right then, we've got options like beveling and embossing. Thing is, the text's so large that it's going to take quite a lot before it embosses. I think we'll just leave it the way it is.
Just leave it. It's fine. We don't even need to put the box. It's just okay there. Just move it slightly up further into the corner.
You think? There we go.
Yeah. It's just good there.
Okay, Road to SFM Part 3, made by Trob and Blue. www.youcanblue.com. Looks good to me. What do you think?
It's good. Right, if we want to swap seats, I can start putting this up onto Steam.
Well, I need to save this, don't I?
Yes.
And what do you want it saved as?
Road to SFM Part 3.
No, I mean what kind of image format?
PNG.
Okay, so I'm going
The
to
poster
save
type.
it first. So save. And I'm going to save it as a Photoshop file.
Wait, I think it's PNG.
Yeah, we can do PNG. So we'll just go here to my PNG.
Basically, you want the best possible settings.
Well, should be. If it doesn't crash, anyway.
Hopefully not.
Right, so this is quite a large image, 1.9 meg, so I'll only assume that they're going to... Right, and we want to go into rotate SM3, douchebag.png. Done.
Right, that'll save. And swap seats so I can start putting this into Steam.
Okie dokie. Hang on
Just
a second.
reopen the SFM.
Will do, I'm just waiting for this to just do its business. Hang on. So you want me to open up Steam?
Right, swap seats and I can get this done.
Cool, there you go.
So, now that that's done, we should have our image, so file. Now we need to go to community, publish to Steam.
Okay,
So, I
let's
need to get
browse
the
for our
image.
Let me, hang on, I'll find it. If we just go up one, because obviously this is the one we did last time. Up again. And go to rotate SM3, there you go. And I think you want douchebag.png.
Probably. So, let's get rid of this. Part 3.
Mr. Unlucky the Sniper.
The sniper's not the unlucky one. So, you want to put the description in then?
Yeah, put down, let me see. Put down the further adventures of Mr. Unlucky, the world's worst scout. Adventures
Of
Mr. Unlucky or douchebag the Scout.
It's a name. The further adventures of Douchebag the Scunt as he does his thing.
Excellent. Do we have a genre?
Yep, TF2. Set to
Excellent.
public, otherwise no one will see it. And publish image.
Sweet.
And once this is finished, which it won't take long, it will open the image and we can get the finished.
Well, we can see it's 100 complete already.
So
Hooray!
just hit OK, and then
Drag it across. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Isn't it lovely?
indeed, this has been Zombie and Blue. Hope you enjoyed our thing.
And we will see you next time. Goodbye, dear public. We love you.
No, we don't.